For 6 long years, the vast, unforgiving expanse of the Atlantic Ocean became the world's most brutal battlefield. A silent, deadly war raged beneath its churning waves, where steel beasts hunted in the dark. It was the longest, and in many ways, the most crucial battle of the Second World War. But amidst the known carnage, there lies a deeper mystery. While countless ships met their documented end, some hunters simply vanished, without a trace, swallowed by the ocean's immense dark secret. When World War II erupted in 1939, Germany's grand strategy hinged on one critical objective: to starve its island enemy, Great Britain, into submission. To achieve this, Admiral Karl Donitz unleashed his wolf packs, coordinated groups of U-boats tasked with strangling the vital supply lines that stretched across the Atlantic. These convoys, carrying food, fuel, weapons, and soldiers from North America, were Britain's lifeline. The German High Command knew that if they could sever this artery, the war in Europe would be theirs. The U-boat crews, filled with a sense of purpose and the thrill of the hunt, sailed from heavily fortified ports in France and Germany. Their mission was clear: sink Allied shipping at any cost. The Atlantic was no longer a mere ocean. It was a designated war zone, a sprawling 3,000-mile-wide killing field where the fate of nations would be decided. Britain's survival, and indeed the future of the Allied cause, depended entirely on keeping these sea lanes open. The battle had begun. The early years of the war belonged to the U-boats. The wolf packs were devastatingly effective. Convoys, often poorly protected, were stalked and attacked with ruthless efficiency. Under the cover of night, the submarines would surface, unleashing a salvo of torpedoes before disappearing back into the depths. The ocean became a graveyard, littered with the burning hulks of merchant ships and tankers. The cost in human life was staggering. Thousands of merchant mariners and naval sailors were lost to torpedo strikes, exposure, and the merciless cold of the Atlantic. But this was a war with two fronts. The hunters also became the hunted. As Allied technology improved, with the development of better sonar, radar, and long-range aircraft, the tide began to turn. Depth charges, exploding with bone-shattering force, became the U-boat's nightmare. Yet, beyond the confirmed kills and documented losses, a strange and unsettling pattern emerged. Entire submarines, complete with their crews of 40 to 50 men, would disappear from the map. No distress call, no final report, no wreckage. They simply vanished, leaving behind only silence and a question mark in the naval archives. Among these phantom losses, none is more famous or perplexing than that of U-47. Commanded by the celebrated Kapitän Lieutenant Günther Prien, a national hero in Germany, U-47 was a legend. In 1939, Prien had achieved the unthinkable, sneaking his submarine into the heavily defended British naval base at Scapa Flow and sinking the battleship HMS Royal Oak at anchor. He was Germany's premier U-boat ace. But on the 7th of March 1941, during a patrol south of Iceland, U-47 sent its last routine signal and was never heard from again. The British claimed the destroyer HMS Wolverine sank it, but their own records cast doubt on this. No definitive wreck has ever been found. Over the decades, theories have multiplied. Did it fall victim to one of its own circling torpedoes? Was it destroyed by a secret, experimental British weapon? Or, as some whispered, was the truth of its demise deliberately covered up by one side, or perhaps even both? The hero's submarine had become a ghost. The war at sea was not just fought with torpedoes and depth charges, but with secrets and whispers. Deep in the English countryside, at a top-secret facility known as Bletchley Park, a team of brilliant minds was waging a silent war of its own. Their target was the German Enigma machine, a complex cipher device used to encrypt nearly all of the German military's communications. By 1942, the codebreakers, led by figures like Alan Turing, had achieved a monumental breakthrough. They could read the U-boat's secret messages. They often knew the Wolfpack's planned positions, their patrol routes, and their targets. This intelligence, codenamed Ultra, was the single most important secret of the war. But it came with a terrible burden. To protect the source, the Allies couldn't act on every piece of information. Sometimes, they had to make the agonizing decision to let a convoy sail into a known ambush, sacrificing ships and lives to prevent the Germans from realizing their codes were broken. This raises a chilling question. Did the fate of U-47, and perhaps other vanished submarines, hide an intelligence operation so sensitive that its story could never be told? Was its disappearance an elaborate ruse, a ghost created to protect the ultimate secret? Decades after the war's end, the Atlantic was still giving up its dead. In 1991, a group of recreational divers exploring a wreck off the coast of New Jersey made a shocking discovery. The submarine they found, lying in 230 feet of water, was a German-type WWII U-boat. After years of painstaking research, it was identified as U-869. But according to the German Navy's own records, U-869 had been lost off the coast of Rabat, in North Africa, thousands of kilometers away. How did it end up on the American East Coast? The crew's families had been told their loved ones died in the eastern Atlantic. What happened on its final patrol? Was it a catastrophic navigational error that sent it so far off course? Did the captain disobey orders, embarking on a rogue mission? Or was there something else at play, a final, unrecorded chapter in its operational history? The ghost of U-869 created a new mystery, proving that the official records of the war did not hold all the answers. Today, the floor of the Atlantic is a vast, silent museum. An estimated 784 German U-boats were lost during the war, and hundreds of them still lie in unknown locations, their steel hulls slowly succumbing to the crushing pressure and corrosive salt. Modern sonar scans and deep-sea expeditions occasionally reveal these lost tombs. Some wrecks show clear evidence of battle damage, gaping holes from torpedoes or hulls crumpled by depth charges, but others are eerily intact. They rest upright on the seabed, showing no outward signs of combat. Some appear to have been destroyed from within by a catastrophic internal explosion. What really happened to these ghost submarines in their final moments? Were they victims of mechanical failure, battery explosions, or diving accidents? Or did they fall prey to something more sinister? The ocean holds their stories, locked away in a cold, dark, and silent embrace. So what is the final verdict on these phantom submarines? Were their disappearances just unfortunate, undocumented accidents of war, the predictable cost of fighting in such a hostile environment? Were they simply overwhelmed by a sudden storm, or a technical flaw that left no time to send a final message? Or are they markers of stories buried far deeper under the waves, stories of espionage, secret weapons, mutiny, or sabotage that were intentionally erased from the history books? The Battle of the Atlantic officially ended with Germany's surrender in 1945, bringing an end to the bloodshed. But the questions remain. The ocean, which witnessed so much of the conflict, still keeps its secrets. And perhaps it always will. Thank you for watching. If you found this journey into history's depths as fascinating as we did, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more stories from the forgotten corners of the past.